The story began with Charlotte sleeping peacefully in her room. Meanwhile, on the outside, a horse carriage rolled slowly down the street. Out of nowhere, the lock on her window popped open by itself. A strange shadow moved outside. When Charlotte opened her eyes, she saw a vampire standing there. His name was Baron Meier Link. He wasn't just any vampire. He was one of the strongest nobles. Before she could even scream, he took her away. Meanwhile, her father, John Elbourne, was in a church praying with a worried face. His son, Alan Elbourne, stood beside him. The Elbourne family had hired a vampire hunter named Dee to bring Charlotte back. Dee wasn't just any hunter. He was a dhampir, half human, half vampire. Alan told Dee that they had already sent a bunch of hunters after Meier Link, but none of them made it back alive. Meier Link killed every single one of them. The Elbourne family was desperate. They offered Dee a big pile of money, begging him to find Charlotte and bring her home. But Dee didn't sugarcoat anything. He told them that straight up. He couldn't promise she'd be safe. Meier Link was too strong, and if Charlotte had already turned into a vampire, there was a chance she wouldn't want to come back. If that was the case, the family wanted Dee to end her life quickly and painlessly. Meanwhile, in another town, a group of vampire hunters showed up, questioning a man. They asked if he had seen a horse carriage pass through. The man lied, saying he didn't know anything. But then his body started shaking, his skin twisted, his eyes turned red, and in seconds he transformed into a vampire. Before the hunters could react, he lunged at them. But these hunters weren't amateurs. They moved fast, dodging and striking back. Within moments, they took the vampire down. The fight was loud though, too loud. More vampires started creeping out of the shadows. One by one they appeared, until the hunters realized they were outnumbered. Thinking fast, they pulled out their secret weapon, a huge tank with blinding lights. The flash hit the vampires like a punch to the face, making them stumble and cover their eyes. The hunters didn't waste time. They rushed past the blinded creatures trying to escape, but vampires recover fast. The second their eyesight returned, they came running. The vampires surrounded the hunters, and just as things were about to get worse, a massive explosion shook the place. These hunters weren't just any group, they were the Marcus brothers. The team included their leader, Borgoff, the powerhouse Nolt, the deadly sword fighter Kyle, the psychic but weak Grove, and Layla, a woman who had her own reasons for hating vampires. They fought like demons, taking down vampire after vampire. Then out of nowhere, the sound of a horse echoed from the hill. Everyone turned their heads. Borgoff, always quick, grabbed his bow and shot an arrow straight toward the horse. But before the arrow could hit, someone appeared. Dee. He snatched the arrow right out of the air and snapped it in half like it was nothing. The hunters froze. Borgoff narrowed his eyes, then smirked. He clapped his hands and asked for Dee's name, even offered to be friends. Dee didn't say much. He just introduced himself, then turned and walked away. As he left, Borgoff's grin faded. He knew exactly who Dee was, a legend, a vampire hunter who never failed. Kyle, watching Dee disappear, muttered that they shouldn't hype him up too much. After all, he was their enemy. But while the others kept talking, Layla had something else on her mind. Without a word, she decided to follow him. Dee kept moving, knowing the Marcus brothers would be a pain in the ass. If they got in his way, this mission was about to get messy. He had to find Charlotte before that happened. By morning, he hit a vast desert. The sun blazed, and the sand stretched endlessly. Kneeling, he let his left hand, his parasite, sniff out the trail. It spoke. Meier Link and Charlotte passed through 6 hours ago. Then it dropped a warning. His heat syndrome was creeping up. Before he could dwell on it, the sand shifted. Giant sand mantas burst from below, deadly and relentless. The parasite urged him to turn back. Dee ignored it. With insane agility, he leapt from one beast to another, moving like a ghost untouched. Within minutes, he was through. By late afternoon, he reached Charlotte's location and felt Meier Link's presence. Picking up small stones, he tossed them into the air. Some vanished. Invisible lasers. He navigated the traps effortlessly, eyes scanning for a hidden entrance. As the sun dipped, Meier tensed. Dee was here. At the same time, Layla arrived, planning to blow the wall open. Before she could act, Meier attacked with brutal force, leaving her injured. Dee stepped in, clashing with the vampire in a high-speed battle. Just as he was about to land the final blow, Meier spoke. Charlotte wasn't kidnapped. She came willingly. Dee hesitated. Why would a human choose a vampire? Then Charlotte called out to Meier, her voice filled with emotion. That was all the proof Dee needed. Later, Dee found Layla, still wounded, and healed her. She woke up furious. She hated owing a dhampir. When the Marcus brothers arrived, Grove, the weakest among them, asked if she was okay. She lied, then made him swear not to tell anyone Dee had helped her. As they pushed forward, Meier's carriage stopped. The Marcus brothers moved to check, but a chilling voice warned them they had entered Barbarois. No hunter walked out alive. Meier had hired 3 deadly mercenaries: Carolyn, a shapeshifter; Benj, a shadow master; and Mashira, a werewolf. Benye struck first, killing Nolt in a flash. Dee stormed into Barbarois to break Meier's defenses, but the mercenaries laughed. They had served nobles for centuries. They weren't about to betray one now. Dee, he wasn't leaving alive. Meanwhile, the Marcus brothers prepared Grove for battle. Dee had no grudge against the Barbarois, but now he'd have to cut through them. Grove's soul unleashed hell, tearing through the mercenaries, but the 3 hired to guard Meier escaped with the carriage. Dee gave chase. He got close, but it was a trap. An ambush struck Dee down, trapping him in a spell. He struggled but failed to break free. Meanwhile, the Marcus brothers chased Meier Link's carriage. Kyle fired, but Caroline blocked them. Borgoff slammed her with a tank, but she leaped onto it, wrecking their ride. With no choice, Borgoff decided to fight. Caroline nearly killed Kyle, but the others jumped in, forcing her back. Dee's left-hand parasite quickly analyzed the spell and offered to absorb it. Dee let it, breaking free. While Borgoff fought the Barbarois, Meier Link's carriage vanished. Layla suspected they were hiding nearby. Borgoff ordered Kyle and Layla to find fuel while he stayed with Grove to fix the tank. Elsewhere, Meier Link received a letter from Countess Carmilla, wishing him a safe journey. The next morning, Dee rode into town for a new horse. Layla spotted him and told Kyle to go on without her. She stopped at an inn, ordered a beer, and handed over her weapons when questioned. She tipped off the sheriff about Dee's arrival. Dee bought a horse from an old man, but the sheriff stepped in to arrest him. No dampiers or nobles were allowed. The old man pulled a gun, backing the sheriff off, revealing that Dee had once saved his life. Layla watched from the shadows as Dee rode away. Meanwhile, Charlotte stepped out to enjoy the sun. Dee appeared, asking why she was with Meier Link. She confessed her love, but Dee warned she would become a vampire. She said she would rather die than leave Meier. Layla overheard, furious. She slapped Charlotte and dragged her away, refusing to share her bounty with Dee. Before he could react, Caroline attacked. Mashira snatched Charlotte and bolted. Dee chased but was forced to retreat, weakened by sun sickness. Caroline lunged, but Dee wounded her. Layla fled and found Dee trying to bury himself to recover. Too weak to do it alone, he reluctantly accepted her help. As she left, Caroline attacked again. Layla threw a knife, enraging her, until a lightning strike saved Layla's ass. Rain poured. Dee woke to find Layla nearby, claiming she had only stayed to keep dry. They talked, realizing they had saved each other twice now. Layla shared her past. Vampires had taken her mother, killed her father, and turned her mother into a monster the villagers had stoned to death. That was why she hunted them. She asked Dee why he did it. He simply said it was his duty. Dee tells Layla she can live a normal life, something he'll never have. Layla, haunted by the thought of dying without anyone to mourn her, makes a deal. If one of them dies, the other brings flowers to their grave. With that settled, they agree to find Charlotte together. By morning, Dee and Layla split up. Meanwhile, Meier Link's carriage speeds toward the castle of Chathe, shadowed by the Marcus brothers. Borgoff wants to strike, but Kyle warns it's suicide. Layla confirms she's on her way. The Marcus brothers make their move, setting off an ambush. Borgoff threatens Mashira, warning him not to move or they'll all blow sky high. Kyle moves in to snatch Charlotte, but Mashira's sharp eyes spot buried explosives. Mashira prepares to fight, but Borgoff lands an arrow in him. As the Marcus brothers seize Charlotte, Meier Link steps into the sun to shield her, something no noble vampire should do. Shocked, Borgoff lets arrows fly. Charlotte, panicked, breaks free and runs straight into Meier's arms, declaring she'd rather die with him. Mashira retaliates, slaughtering Kyle. Borgoff barely escapes an explosion as Meier and Charlotte flee in their carriage. Meier fights his hunger, struggling not to sink his fangs into her. Meanwhile, Borgoff refuses to let up, even as Drove warns they'll never make it out alive. But Borgoff won't back down. He owes Kyle, and he's not quitting now. Drove asks Layla's take. She knows why vampires fear them. They never stop. Giving up means abandoning their purpose, and she won't do that until the last vampire is dead. Mashira warns Meier they're almost at the castle. He stays behind to fight. Dee, speaking to the parasite on his hand, hears an unsettling truth. He doesn't want Meier and Charlotte together because their child would be like him. Near the castle, Mashira ambushes Dee, but Dee cuts him down. Before dying, the werewolf says he was working for Countess Carmilla. His mission is done. Inside, Meier and Charlotte meet Carmilla, a vampire ghost who once ruled the castle. She paints herself as a victim, killed by Dee's father out of jealousy, but her bloodlust had made even nobles despise her. She shows them an ancient spaceship, promising it can take them to the City of the Night, where they can live in peace, though the ship might not hold up. Carmilla gives them a room. Alone, Charlotte begs Meier to turn her, but he hesitates. Immortality is a curse, not a gift. The thirst, the beast inside, he doesn't want that for her. Charlotte calls him selfish. She abandoned everything for him, and now she has nothing else. But Meier has unfinished business. He leaves, telling her to stay put. Meanwhile, Dee and the Marcus brothers storm the castle separately. Carmilla, ever the manipulator, toys with their minds, showing Meier a vision of Dee taking Charlotte away, and Charlotte a vision of Meier calling for her. Dee moved through the castle, his parasite warning him that something was off. He spotted a strange door and stepped inside, finding himself in an eerie, unfamiliar space. Meanwhile, the Marcus brothers arrived. Grove, weak and barely holding on, warned Layla not to go in, said it was a death trap, but Layla didn't care. She told him she wasn't dying that day and walked in without hesitation. Inside, she and Borgoff split up to search. Layla found a mysterious door, pushed it open, and stepped into darkness. Meanwhile, Carmilla kept messing with Dee's mind. This time, she showed him a vision of his mother, who apologized for making him a dhampir and claimed vampires and humans could love each other. Dee watched in silence before gripping his sword and cutting through the illusion, shattering it. Carmilla then targeted Borgoff, showing him a fake reunion with his dead brothers. Overcome with joy, he let his guard down. Big mistake. She attacked. Next, she went after Layla, making her see her younger self crying on a grave. Layla, overwhelmed, tried to comfort the child, but the kid rejected her and ran into the darkness. Before Layla could react, a massive cauldron fell from above, knocking her down. Dee arrived, told her it was all a trick, and helped her up. Dee then confronted Carmilla, demanding Charlotte's whereabouts. Before she answered, Borgoff appeared, his eyes glowing red, fully turned into a vampire. He grabbed Layla, ordering her to drop her weapon. But before things spiraled further, Grove's spirit appeared, launching a final attack on Borgoff. The battle ended with both of them dead, leaving Layla stunned. Meanwhile, Charlotte remained trapped in an illusion, walking toward Meier Link, who bit her neck. In reality, she collapsed, blood dripping from her throat. Carmilla smirked, revealing her true goal, draining Charlotte's blood to resurrect herself. Just as she started the ritual, Dee stormed in. Carmilla mocked him, claiming humans existed only as vampire food, but Dee told her the vampire era was over. Furious, she attacked, but Dee fought back hard, destroying her ghost before she could finish the ritual. Afterward, Layla aimed her gun at Meier Link, but hesitated when she saw his love for Charlotte. Instead, she lowered her weapon. Meier Link cradled Charlotte's body, ready to leave for the City of the Night, but Dee blocked his path, said he had to take Charlotte home. Meier refused, and they clashed in an intense battle. In the end, Dee stabbed Meier Link, but not fatally. Layla sighed, said there had been enough death, and tossed Charlotte's ring away. Dee picked it up, declaring Charlotte dead. As the castle collapsed, Dee and Layla left, allowing Meier Link to escape with Charlotte's body in the hidden spaceship. As the ship rose, Layla joked that she should get the reward, but let Dee have it that time. They walked away. Years later, Dee visited Layla's funeral, watching from afar as her family mourned. Her granddaughter noticed him and invited him to join them. Dee declined, saying he had only come to pay respects to an old friend, one who had once feared no one would mourn her. Seeing she had been wrong, he gave a small smile before walking away.